Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Happy Tuesday. Sorry I'm late. We had some stuff we had to get done around here. We had to get people out of the house, and there you go. So we've talked about the power of identity. Nobody will do something that's inconsistent with their identity, or at least they won't do it long term. You might do something, in the heat of the moment or on a whim, but long term, you're not going to do anything that's inconsistent with your identity. If your identity is, I'm not a smoker. So like anybody that's ever quit smoking and successfully quit smoking, if you ask them, do you want a cigarette? They're not tempted by that. They don't go, what brand is it? They will tell you, they don't just say no either. They will tell you, I'm not a smoker. I'm not that type of person. I've noticed this with myself with alcohol. It's not often that I get offered alcohol anymore, but on the occasion when I do, I can't help myself. Well, I could help myself, but I don't just say no. I say I don't drink. I'm driven to explain to that person that I actually don't drink alcohol because I've changed my identity. I'm not that type of person. And identity, so how do we change that? How do we become something different? So if one of the things that you're working on is I want to change my finances, if one of the things that you're working on is I want to change my physical health, that means you change your identity. People who stay in shape consistently, they don't miss. And it isn't about time, and it isn't about weather, and it isn't about whether or not you got a Peloton, and it isn't about whether or not you got the new Asics shoes. It is just that they're dedicated, and that's their identity. Their identity is, I'm a person that always exercises and stays in shape, and they have very hard and fast rules. So how did they get that identity, or how do you get that identity if that's something that you want? Well, the Latin word for identity breaks down to mean being repeatedly. Being repeatedly. So in other words, those actions that you take on a regular basis become your identity, and vice versa. Your identity decides the actions that you take on a regular basis. So if you want to change your identity, understand that discipline's only going to take you so far. But when you start taking those regular actions, that little 1% increment that we've talked about, those actions are going to change your identity over time, because what you do repeatedly becomes your identity. So if you want your identity to be that you're somebody who is in tremendous shape, start exercising just a little bit and do that continuously, consistently. It only takes 21 days to create a new habit. It only takes 7 days to create a new process that is consistent in your life. So you don't have to figure out how to do it for the rest of your life. This is what AA teaches you. You don't have to figure out how to be sober for the rest of your life. You only have to figure out how to be sober for the rest of the day. And then you do the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and before you know it, you've changed your identity, because what you do on a regular basis becomes that identity. If you want financial freedom, then you have to start acting like people who are financially free, and just do it at a little bit at a time and then go forward. What do? They all do the same thing. They all spend less than they make, invest the difference, and live off of interest off the investment, and invest the difference until the interest is more than what they make. That's what everybody who achieves financial freedom does. They all do the exact same process. If you're later in life and you need to do it more, then you got to increase income and invest more. If you're earlier in life, then 10% will be fine. If you're later in life, then you need to do 40%. So you got to figure out how to increase your income, how to reduce your expenses, how to save the difference, and get it into a vehicle that starts earning income, passive income, make money while you sleep. And you keep stuffing that money back into your investments until your passive income is more than your active income, and now you've reached financial freedom, financial independence. Same process that everybody uses. How do you lose weight? You take in less calories than you burn, period. If you take in less calories than you burn, then your body will get smaller. Now, that doesn't mean healthy. I said, how do you lose weight? Healthy is a different thing, and it might be a little bit different for everybody else, but we know basically if you eat healthy foods, you're going to be healthy. If you spend all of your time eating that stuff back there, you're going to be a lot better off than if you spend your time eating McDonald's and other fast food and chips. So we all know the process. We don't need some new thing. What we need is a new identity. And the new identity gets created by what you do on a regular basis, being repeatedly. So you don't have to think about how am I going to do this for the rest of your life. You just need to think about how am I going to do this for the next few days? How am I going to do this for the next 30, 45, maybe 60 days? And it'll become part of who you are. When I quit drinking 10 and a half years ago, it really surprised me how quickly for me personally, my internal identity changed like that. I was like, I'm never going to drink ever again. But it took a little while on the outside for other people to accept that identity, but not long. Within 60 to 90 days, suddenly other people, if I was at a party or whatever, and somebody would offer me a drink, somebody else would say, oh, no, Tim doesn't drink. It shocked me how quickly that identity changed. Now, I think some of that came because of how certain I was about my new identity, but the point is still the same. It did not take long, and the identity was suddenly different. Speak it and you'll become it. So if you want to be an athlete, do the things that athletes do, and pretty soon you're going to be an athlete. That's going to change your identity. If you want financial freedom, do the things that people that are financially free do, and pretty soon you're going to have financial freedom. Identity is being repeatedly. So what we do on a regular basis decides who we are. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.